Good morning, Cullman. Thank you for tuning in to Cullman Today. I'm your host, Cheyenne Sharp, and today is Tuesday, August 20th. We have a lot to look at this morning, including news about Peinhardt Farm Day, the Good Samaritan Health Clinic's open house, and a vintage resale shop that gives new life to old duds. All this plus sports, weather, and more. But for now, let's dive into the top stories happening in Cullman today. We have some sad news to share from Peinhardt Living History Farm. In a social media post over the weekend, the Living History Farm announced the cancellation of Farm Day and all events for the remainder of 2024. The statement read, "The Peinhardt Living History Farm Foundation Board has made the difficult decision to cancel all school and public events for fall 2024 due to family illness. Please keep the Peinhardts in your prayers and thoughts, and thank you for your continued support of the Peinhardt Living History Farm." Next up, the students of Vinemont High School are enjoying the brand new facilities this week as the Cullman County Board of Education, along with the superintendent, Dr. Shane Barnett, swarmed the home of the Eagles to cut the ribbon on a brand new library, science lab, and additional classroom spaces. To finish out our top stories, this Sunday, August 25th, the Good Samaritan Health Clinic will host an open house for the public to join in its mission of community wellness as the clinic celebrates its 20th anniversary in the Cullman community. The clinic is specifically for uninsured locals in need of health care. Sign up for the open house online or on the Good Samaritan Clinic Facebook page. Now that we have the top stories out of the way, we're going to take a quick break before returning with sports.
Discover what's buzzing in Cullman with Community Matters, where every story pops off the page with local flair. It's the magazine that's got the inside track on what's now, what's new, and who's who. Get the lowdown on top eats and 411 on recipes that'll turn up your summer cooking game. Relive our local team's triumphs on the sports fields and pencil in summer's hottest events for fun the whole family will love. Get your copy of Community Matters at the Cullman Tribune, any of the local businesses on screen, or scan the QR code.
Hello and welcome back. Now it's time to find out what's going on in the world of sports. High school football season is finally upon us once again, and in today's sports segment, we'll take a look at all of our local teams' season opening matchups set for this week. Cullman will be the first local squad to hit the field. The Bearcats will travel to Bob Jones to take on the Patriots Thursday night, looking to start the season in the win column. Both teams finished 5-6 and earned a playoff spot a season ago, so Thursday night's game should be a good one. Everyone else will be in action on Friday night. The West Point Warriors will host Haleyville, and after looking sharp in their jamboree against Hanceville last week, the Warriors will be excited to get on the field and kick off the regular season against the Lions. In Hanceville, the Bulldogs are set to clash with the Cold Spring Eagles at Ray Talley Stadium. Hanceville will look to improve on its performance in the jamboree game at West Point last week, and the Eagles are hoping to kick off the season with a win over a county rival. The Vinemont Eagles will host Falkville to continue their season opening series. The Blue Devils took last year's matchup 26-20, and Vinemont won 46-40 2 seasons ago, so this year's game should be another tight one between these two teams. Holly Pond will open its season at home against Appalachian, and after struggling the last 2 years, starting the season with a win would mean a lot for the Broncos. After struggling in their jamboree game against Lynn last week, the Addison Bulldogs will look to bounce back with a win over their rivals at Winston County on Friday night. Nearby in Arley, the Meek Tigers are hoping to continue their stretch of success this fall and plan to get started with a season-opening win at Lynn. Fairview and Good Hope will be on the field Friday night as well. Fairview will host Pigsa at Dafford Smith Stadium for a jamboree, and the Raiders will travel to Fife for a jamboree game against the Red Devils. That covers sports for today, but make sure to check with the Cullman Tribune each day for the latest in sports coverage from across the area. We'll be back after this message. Hello and welcome back to Cullman Today. Now it's time to speed things up with a news rundown. 4 stories in under 4 minutes. Former Baileyton Mayor Johnny Dyer recently pled guilty to 2 misdemeanor counts of use of office for personal gain. The dates of the offenses were between June 16th and July 21st in 2019. Dyer received 12 months for each count. These sentences were suspended and Dyer was placed on probation for 24 months per charge. He is required to pay a $2,500 fine, all court costs and restitution to the town of Baileyton in the amount of $4,193.25. Cullman County District Attorney Champ Crocker said Dyer was also given conditions with his plea agreement and probation. According to the stated terms of the plea agreement on Alicourt, Dyer cannot directly work for or be employed by any public government entity during the 4-year probationary period. He also had to answer in open court to establish a factual basis for his guilt. Last, he had to issue a public apology. Crocker said, "We are working hard to clear the backlog of cases we inherited upon taking office last year. This settlement meets our priorities, which were justice, accountability, and fully compensating the town of Baileyton with restitution." A local traveling vintage shop is taking Cullman by storm and procuring vintage clothing and vinyl records for the sustainable fashion crowd. The operating duo behind Third Rock Revivals, Matt Burns and Skylar King, travel the county and state in search of the perfect throwback goods to stock the far-out fashion lover's closet and pique the interest of a clothing collector. Nearly twice a year, Karma's Coffee House opens its doors to the resellers, allowing a venue to display and sell racks and tables of the items from yard sales, estate sales, thrift shops, boutiques, and even storage building cleanouts. Third Rock Revival and more information about future sales can be found on Facebook. At its most recent meeting, held on August 15th, the Cullman County Board of Education approved additional special education contracts to assist the system's schools in accommodating students with an array of special needs. Cullman County Schools Superintendent Dr. Shane Barnett said, "Many of these are paid for out of grants and things that we received that we can bring to these special services into some of our most severe special ed classrooms." In light of the recent economic challenges, 2 beloved Hanceville businesses, Vintage Magnolias and Just Repurposed, are joining forces to ensure their continued success. Both shops, which have become staples in the Hanceville community, have felt the strain of the economy's effects on small-town business ownership. This partnership marks an exciting new chapter for both owners and their loyal customers. The historic building where the 2 businesses will now operate has a rich history in Hanceville. Constructed in 1920 after a devastating fire, the building has served various purposes over the years, including a general store, funeral parlor, and dress shop. Now it'll be the home of both Just Repurposed and Vintage Magnolias, continuing its legacy as a central part of the community. The stores are located at 111 Commercial Street Northeast. Now for a quick break before we look at the weather ahead and pay our respects with obituaries. I'll be right back after this quick message. Welcome back. Let's take a moment to pause and remember those who have lost their lives this week as we turn to obituaries. Lori Ann Malone. Lori Ann Malone of Cullman passed away on Sunday evening, August 18th, at the age of 60. The family will accept guests on Wednesday evening, August 21st, from 5 until 8 p.m. in the Holly Pond Funeral Home Chapel. A funeral service for Miss Malone will be held at 1 p.m. on Thursday, August 22nd, at the funeral home. Lori will be laid to rest following services in Duck River Cemetery. John Lawrence Hopper. John Lawrence Hopper, 77 of Cullman, passed away on Sunday, August 18th, after living a full and rewarding life. Services will be held at Grace Episcopal Church on Friday, August 23rd. Visitation will begin at 4:30 p.m. in the church parish hall, with the funeral service beginning at 6:30 p.m. Mr. Hopper's ashes will be interred at Maple Hill Cemetery in Huntsville, Alabama, beside his parents at a later date. In lieu of flowers, the family requests donations be made in memory of Mr. Hopper to the Cullman County Animal Shelter. Cletus Sims. Cletus Sims, 89, of Colony, passed away August 15th in Colony. A memorial service for Mr. Sims will be at 1 p.m. August 24th at Hanceville Funeral Home Chapel. The family will receive friends at Hanceville Funeral Home from noon until 1 p.m. on Saturday. Hanceville Funeral Home is honored to serve the Sims family. Jeffrey L. Parker. Jeffrey L. Parker, 68, of Hanceville, passed away August 15th in Hanceville. A memorial service for Mr. Parker will be at 4 p.m. Saturday, August 24th at Hanceville Funeral Home Chapel. The family will receive friends at Hanceville Funeral Home from 2 to 4 p.m. on Saturday. That finishes up obituaries for today. Our thoughts and prayers go out to their friends and families. Now, let's take a look at today's weather forecast. Today will be sunny with a high near 85. Tonight should be clear with a low of around 58. Tomorrow is also set to be sunny with a high near 84. And tomorrow night is looking beautiful, mostly clear with a low of around 62. That's it for another edition of Cullman Today. Thank you for joining us. We'll be back bright and early tomorrow morning at 6:30 a.m. I'm Cheyenne Sharp with Cullman Today, wishing you an awesome Tuesday, Cullman.